Passage du Gois. Imagine a paved road that you can drive on normally, then just a few hours later, it disappears completely under the sea. This is the Passage du Gois in France, a road about 4.1 kilometers long that connects the island of Noirmoutier to the mainland. It can only be crossed at low tide, but as the water rises, the sea gradually covers the road until it disappears completely. That is why drivers must follow the posted crossing times, because being late can mean the water traps the car in the middle of the route. For this reason, there are tall rescue towers along the road that people can climb if the rising tide catches them. The sea usually covers the road twice a day, turning it from a drivable road into part of the seafloor. Vitim River Bridge. Imagine a very narrow bridge, barely wider than the car itself, with a surface made of wooden planks and almost no side barriers. This is the Vitim River Bridge in Russia, stretching over a river in Siberia, and it is known as one of the most dangerous crossings a car can attempt. The problem is that the bridge was not originally designed to be a normal road for cars, yet it has still been used locally for crossing. The bridge extends for hundreds of meters, which means the driver is not facing just one brief dangerous moment, but a long stretch that demands constant balance and concentration. In winter, the wooden planks may become covered with ice, making traction even weaker, and even a slight drift could push the vehicle toward the edge. That is why crossing it looks as if the car is driving on a long wooden board above the river, with almost no real room for error. Guoliang Tunnel Road. Imagine a narrow road carved directly into a rocky mountain wall, with openings on one side looking straight down into a deep valley. This is the Guoliang Tunnel Road in China, dug by the villagers of Guoliang themselves after their village had been almost isolated from the outside world. Work on the tunnel began in 1972, with a small number of villagers taking part in the excavation using simple tools against solid rock. The digging took about 5 years until the road was finally opened in 1977. The tunnel is about 1.2 kilometers long and contains dozens of side openings that allow light to enter and look directly out over the valley. But the road is extremely narrow in some sections. Its turns are sharp, and there is very little room for error while driving. With rain and fog, visibility can become poor, especially near the openings and mountain edges. That is why Guoliang Road became one of the most famous dangerous mountain roads in the world. Yungas Road. Imagine a narrow mountain road running along the edge of towering cliffs, and in some sections barely wide enough for a single vehicle. This is Yungas Road in Bolivia, which once connected La Paz and Coroico, and for years was known as the Death Road. The road passes through extremely steep mountains and reaches very high altitudes in some areas, making driving difficult even under normal conditions. But the danger was not only the altitude, it was also the thick fog, the rain, the mud, and the waterfalls that sometimes cross the road. Along many parts of the route, there were no strong barriers at the edge, meaning that even a small mistake could send a vehicle straight into the valley below. Trucks and buses used this road despite its narrowness, so the moment two vehicles faced each other became one of the most dangerous situations on the route. During its most dangerous years, some estimates suggested that around 200 to 300 people died each year because of accidents and falls from the cliffs. That is why Yungas Road became famous as one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Ice roads. Imagine driving a massive truck across a frozen lake, with nothing beneath your wheels except a layer of ice. These are the ice roads in Canada. Seasonal roads that open during winter over lakes and rivers that freeze completely. These roads are used to transport fuel and equipment to remote areas that ordinary roads cannot easily reach. But driving on ice requires strict rules. Vehicles must follow low speed limits, and large distances are kept between trucks. The reason is that the movement of a vehicle creates waves and pressure inside the ice and the water beneath it, which can increase the risk of cracking, especially with heavy trucks. The thickness of the ice is also monitored constantly, and the road is not allowed to open unless the ice layer is strong enough to support the weight. That is why any rise in temperature or weakening of the ice thickness can lead to the entire road being closed. Zoji La Pass. Imagine a narrow mountain road running between the peaks of the Himalayas, with steep slopes and deep valleys at its side. This is Zoji La Pass in India, which connects the Kashmir Valley with the Ladakh region. The road rises to more than 3,500 meters above sea level, and weather conditions can change very quickly there. In winter, snow covers the road, and the risks of avalanches and skidding increase. Some sections are also extremely narrow, and its turns are sharp, making any driving mistake dangerous. That is why Zoji La is considered one of the most dangerous mountain passes in India.